All right, y'all. Welcome to Street Church. Congregation, come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, this video is gonna be about Remy Ma, rap artist, New York rap artist that goes by the name of Remy Ma. She has been a rap artist for many years. She's got a long, successful career as a rapper in the rap industry. She's been pretty successful. She's a Grammy nominee multiple times. She's a BET Award winner a few times and some other accolades. Everybody knows the female rapper Remy Ma. If you don't know, now you know. She had a strike against her years ago when she had to serve time for an assault case that she caught. She got out, got back on top, got back right to it as far as being a rap artist. But now, criminal activity once again plagues her through her son. Her son, who is 23, his name is Jason Scott. He has been recently arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Some 2 counts of what is that? He's got two counts of criminal possession of a weapon and a first degree of reckless endangerment in New York. He is being charged with a murder that happened in Queens, New York. A guy by the name of Darius Gilbo. Now, Darius Gilbo, 8 months before he was murdered, allegedly by Jason Scott, Remy Ma's son. He was tied to a he was indicted. Now, I don't know if he was charged and convicted, but he had been indicted by a grand jury, of course. You know, this is federal. When you get indicted, it's a federal case. It stems from a drug operation sting with the law enforcement agencies in New York and probably the federal government, like the feds, stemming from an operation known as Operation Heatwave that happened in 2021. This Operation Heatwave that the law enforcement, the sting that they ran, it caused 54 people to be arrested, along with Darius Gilbo, in connection to heroin, fentanyl, and other felonious activity, criminal activity. So this was an operation. This was a drug sting, a drug operation where the Fed and the state law enforcement agencies got together and they brought 54 people under arrest. You know, probably most of them are indicted. Probably most of them are facing cases right now in our U.S. judicial system. So the alleged murder of this Darius Gilbo, is panning out to be murder for hire. Some reports say that it was after a dispute. But the dispute could have been a camouflage, right? To get lesser charges, right? Because if you get murder for hire, it's premeditated. But if you can prove you had an argument and people will testify that there was a dispute going on, well, then you won't get first degree premeditated murder, right? But I believe that it won't go down like that because there's another individual, another person being charged with second degree murder in the murder of Darius Gilbo. Say this man was hit multiple times in the head and chest. So, in order for this person to be charged with second degree murder of the same victim, means he had something to do with some of those shots that this man was killed with. Not just an accomplice, but the second suspect. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so ride around with that if you need to. When you get back to this location, we should be at the same place with where we at. But yeah, it was it. I listen. At first, it threw me back to know that Remy Ma's son um was caught up into something like this. But then I read the article. It wasn't very much on it yet. I'm quite sure there'll be updates and more evidence revealed, right, as this goes on, right, as this case continues to unfold. But what made me realize I shouldn't be thrown back by it or shocked is the fact that Remy Ma, which I did not know this, is only 44 years old. So, if she just turned 44, then I got 7 years on Remy Ma, and I did not know that. I thought me and Remy Ma was the same age. I'm 50, about to, God willing, be 51. I thought that she was 50. I thought we were the same age, but I didn't know I had that many years on Remy Ma. Because Remy Ma, her when she was with Terror Squad, okay, that's how she was discovered. I don't even know about saying discovered, but we got to know her through Fat Joe, another rap artist in New York by the name of Fat Joe, and we know her through him and his group slash record label Terror Squad. She was basically a member of Terror Squad to us, and rocking with Fat Joe, and that's how we got to know Remy Ma. That's how she, came to being known as a rap artist, was through Fat Joe. At least that's how I got to know her. I'm quite sure most will agree who know who Remy Ma is will agree, and attest to the same thing. We know her from Fat Joe and Terror Squad. Um, so anyway, but her being 44, that's what made me say, okay, I can understand how her young son, because look, she did a lot of time too. She did quite a few years in prison herself. So there's a gap there between her being able to raise her son and train him up, and also her being 44, which means, and he's 23, and she's only 44. So she had him when she was in her teens, young herself, and then shortly after that, she in prison. So she didn't have time to raise him the right way. And so I'm gonna call it. The streets end up raising him. It don't seem like his dad was in his life. Either he was absent or he was present in his life, but for the wrong reasons in the wrong way, right? Uh, because listen, let me tell you something. One thing I know about black men, in these communities that we live in, A lot of black men think the street life is the way to raise a young boy to become a man. Let's just call it what it is. And there's black women who live a street life who think they'll be soft on a child to raise them outside of the street life that they've experienced themselves. And this is how this cycle, this is one component of why this cycle continues. These things continue to happen, money, mac, and murder in our communities. Because we think we doing them good by raising them the way we came up. And a lot of times for us, that's the street life. I lived the street life, but I was absent in my kids' life. And at the time, I thought if I'm going to live this street life, I'm not finna influence them to live this street life. So I just remained absent in my daughter's life. I got 4 daughters. So I thought that that was the way to go. I'd rather be absent than to be a bad influence on them. Um, and that's not an excuse for me being an absentee dad, but that's the way I thought of it. Um, and sometimes I wish all these dudes that's from the streets would think like that. Be absent rather than to be present, but you teaching them that street life. Leave their mamas alone and let them raise them kids to live a better life than what you live. Is how I feel. Um, but if you're ready to be a man and you want to be in your kid's life, make the sacrifice to get out them streets and really take care of your kids. Because you're going to directly and indirectly raise these kids to be street dudes. Street dudes, street chicks, you're going to raise them that way. Directly and indirectly. But yeah, I'll give y'all some updates on Remy Ma's son. His name is Jason Scott, 23, facing murder charges, facing a criminal possession of a weapon, and he's facing probably a number of other felony charges. And so he's getting ready to face a lot of time. He may come out on the other end and not, beat his cases. And if so, I'll give you updates on that. But anyway, this is Street Church. I'm letting the congregation out. God bless.